Are you an overlander? Are you somebody who vlogs and travels? Do you make videos in national parks? Do you live in your 4Runner, a van? This new rule affects us all. Hey creator, David Foster here, the original live streaming pro. And today we're going to be talking about something that is a bit serious. Now this is going to affect all of us if we're content creators who make any video of any kind in any national park in the United States. Now I feel like there is an ulterior motive here, and I will touch on that, but I'm not going to get too into the politics of it, but I'm going to talk about the actual language that's on the National Park Service website at this moment. So the National Park Service for the longest time has allowed us to shoot videos and photographs on national parks because that's kind of what people do. And this new rule doesn't seem to affect photographers, only videographers. But my question is, aren't videos just a bunch of pictures? I have a camera that I can hold down the shutter button and it'll take 20 photos. So that's basically a 20 frame per second video. But if I turn it to a different mode and put it on video and it's taking 60 pictures per second, okay, so a 60 frame per second video, that's gonna be under a different rule. So it doesn't really make sense, but let's go ahead and jump in here and read it. Okay, so as you can see, this is on the National Park Service website, nps.gov. I'll put the link to this in the description, but the title is Filming and Still Photography Permits. In most cases, a permit is not necessary for visitors engaging in casual, non-commercial still photography. There are some circumstances when a permit is needed for commercial still photography. So, you know, this guy's got a light, 2 lights and a flash or whatever set up here in San Francisco. So, you know, I can see maybe needing a permit for something like that. That's a little bit more of a professional photo shoot. The National Park Service conserves and protects areas of untold beauty, grandeur, and historical importance for current and future generations. The tradition of capturing images of these special places started with the explorers who traveled with paint and canvas or primitive cameras. Sharing these images helped inspire the creation of national parks. Today, visitors to national parks continue to memorialize their visits through filming and photography. Effective October 28th, 2022, so that means this is already in effect right now, the National Park Service rescinded interim guidance that was in place during litigation regarding commercial filming and has returned to long-standing laws and regulations governing commercial filming in parks. Questions and answers about filming and photography are provided below. When is a permit needed for commercial filming? Under federal law, all commercial filming that occurs within a unit of the national park system requires a permit. So we're going to open this link in another tab and we will come back to that in a second. What is considered commercial filming? Commercial filming means the film, electronic, magnetic, digital, or other recording of a moving image by a person, business, or other entity for a market audience with the intent of generating income. Examples include, but are not limited to, feature film, videography, and documentaries. Commercial filming may include the advertisement of a product or service or the use of actors, models, sets, or props. Does commercial filming by individuals or small groups require a permit? Federal law requires a permit for all commercial filming, no matter the size of the crew or the type of equipment. This includes individuals or small groups that don't use much equipment but generate revenue by posting footage on websites such as YouTube and TikTok. That is the language right there that we need to worry about as content creators. YouTube and TikTok. Individuals or small groups. So if you are somebody that has your channel on YouTube monetized in any way, shape, or form, if you're taking Patreon money, if you're taking Buy Me a Coffee money, any kind of monetization that you're taking on that channel, this affects you. If you are making a single cent on the video that you shoot, this relates to you. The primary focus of the NPS, however, is on commercial filming that has the potential to impact park resources and visitors beyond what occurs from normal visitor use of park areas. Examples of this type of filming are productions that use substantial equipment, such as sets and lighting, productions with crews that exceed 5 people, and filming in closed areas, wilderness areas, or in locations that would create conflicts with other visitors or harm sensitive resources. All filmers, no matter the size, must comply with all rules that apply in park areas, just like other visitors. So that part makes sense to me. Like, there are some people that make it bad for the rest of us. There are people that, we have all the drone rules that we have now because some idiots did stupid stuff in national parks. One person flew a drone into a geyser, went in to get it, and died. So now, because of other people's stupidity, those of us that are responsible drone pilots, those of us who are responsible video makers, those of us who take park rules seriously and try not to disrupt anything, leave nothing but footprint, take nothing but pictures, you know that saying? And I try to be a good steward to every park that I'm in and try to know the rules, the dog rules, because I have dogs, the filming rules, the drone rules, all of that stuff. But there are people that don't care about that stuff. They do it anyway. And then they have to make stricter laws in order to cover everyone. And then we all suffer for the mistakes of the few. Does non-commercial filming require a permit? Individual parks may require a permit for non-commercial filming if necessary to manage the activity, to protect park resources and values, minimize conflict between user groups, or to ensure public safety. Examples of non-commercial filming include, but are not limited to, filming for tourism bureaus, convention and visitor bureaus, student filming, and filming for personal use and enjoyment. If you have questions about whether a non-commercial film project requires a permit, please contact the park where you intend to film in advance. In most cases, a permit is not necessary for visitors filming for personal enjoyment. When is a permit needed for still photography? In most cases, still photography does not require a permit. A permit is required for still photography only when the activity takes place at locations where or when members of the public are generally not allowed, or the activity uses models, sets, and props that are not a part of the location's natural or cultural resources or administrative facilities, or the National Park Service would incur additional administrative costs to monitor the activity. So if they have to bring in security or something like that because it's some movie star is going to be there or something. A model means a person or object that serves as the subject for still photography for the purposes of promoting the sale or use of a product or service. Models include, but are not limited to, individuals, animals, or inanimate objects such as vehicles, boats, articles of clothing, and food and beverage products. Portrait subjects such as wedding parties and high school graduates are not considered models. How do you apply for a permit? Permit applications are available through each park's administrative office or website. Contact information for parks can be found on their website. Find a park where you would like to film or take photographs. If you believe that your filming or photography activity may require a permit, you should submit a completed application to the park where you want to film or photograph as far in advance as your planned dates as possible. Some parks may require that you provide advance notice a certain amount of days before filming or photography begins. In addition, you should request a meeting with park staff if your proposed activity is unusual or complex. Early consultation with park staff will help them process the submitted application in a timely manner. Well, the thing about the permits is it costs between $100 and $200 for you to apply for a permit to film or shoot in a park. And you're not guaranteed to be approved. And if you're not approved, they get to keep that money. It is a non-refundable deposit. So you could pay $150, $200 and apply for a permit to film in a park, and then they could turn it down and say, no, sorry, we're not going to allow that for whatever reason. It could be somebody with personal bias. You might tell them you're going to be there filming a documentary on, the elections or something. And they're going to be like, nope, we don't want anybody talking about politics on this land. Nope, denied. Because it comes down to the personal opinion of the person issuing the permit, unfortunately. What fees will I have to pay for a permit? Federal law requires the National Park Service to recover its administrative costs for commercial filming and still photography activities that require a permit. Cost recovery includes an application fee and any additional charges to cover the costs incurred by the National Park Service in processing your request and monitoring to the permitted activities. This amount will vary depending on the park and the size and complexity of the permitted activities. The application fee must be submitted with your application. In addition, federal law also requires the National Park Service to collect a location fee that provides a fair return to the United States for the use of park lands for commercial filming and for still photography requires a permit. The National Park Service uses the following fee schedule for filming and photography. Commercial filming, 1 to 2 people, camera and tripod only, $0 per day. That's kind of cool. 1 to 2 people, camera and tripod only. So if you don't have any gear or whatever, but the problem is you still have to apply for a permit. Now, I don't know if this means that this is the fee, but you still have to pay to apply. Like, I'm not sure how that works. 1 to 10 people, $150 a day. 11 to 30, $250. 31 to 49, $500. Over 50, $750 a day. Still photography, 1 to 10 people, $50 a day. 11 to 30, $150 a day. Over 30 people, $250 a day. Permits issued for non-commercial filming may be subject to cost recovery charges, including an application fee, but a separate location fee will not be charged. What terms and conditions will the permits have? Filming and photography permits will contain terms and conditions that are necessary to protect park resources and visitors. They will specify the location and time of the activity and the number of personnel and equipment that may be used. The permits also may require you to obtain liability insurance, naming the United States as additionally insured in an amount commensurate with the risk posed to park resources by your proposed activity. You also may be required to post a bond to ensure the payment of all charges and fees and the restoration of the area if necessary. What about photography workshops? If you are planning a photography workshop as part of a business, you may need a commercial use authorization. Okay, so now let's go back up to the part that talks about YouTubers. I want to go through that paragraph again in a little bit more detail because it does say that the primary focus of the National Park Service, however, is on commercial filming that has the potential to impact park resources and visitors beyond what occurs from normal visitor use of park areas. So this is basically saying, look, we're going to be monitoring for people that are out here commercially filming and checking into that. And I have seen people actually get in trouble for flying drones after the fact. They'll take their drone footage from a national park, they'll upload it to their YouTube channel, and then they get a takedown notice and something happens because they've seen it on YouTube. Even though they didn't even catch them in the area, the footage was taken in the area. So the fact that they're saying the primary focus of the National Park Service, however, is on commercial filming that has the potential to impact park resources. So if you're somebody out there, you've got your phone, you are a YouTuber, but you got your phone, you're out there shooting, you got a little camera and a microphone, and you're just walking around, you're not bothering anybody. Chances are they're probably not going to do anything. However, if you get a ranger or somebody, an officer of some kind for the park that has an issue or something against people with cameras, it's going to be up to their discretion as to what happens to you. And you can be fined for this, and you can have to pay hefty fines. You do not want to get yourself to where you have to pay fines to the National Park Service. That is for sure. So now there's another page in here that shows the parks and everything. Now this is what this is my personal opinion and why I feel that this is happening. I feel like this has to do with silencing free speech. There are so many independent journalists out here now that are catching powerful people in the act of doing things, corrupt things, and they're getting tired of it ending up online as videos. They're getting tired of people trying to hold them accountable for what they do. A lot of these national parks happen to be in Washington, D.C., the mall, the Abraham Lincoln Center, like all of those things around the Congress building and all that, that's all national park area. And so they don't want people filming there. They do not want you to have a camera to capture anything there. And that's what I personally feel like this is about. I feel like this is trying to, again, work to silence independent journalists like they do on YouTube, like they do on Twitter, or they were on Twitter anyway. But I will be covering the state of Twitter and what's going on over there and why I think that's going to be a excellent platform to start creating content on ASAP. I'm going to talk about that. But regardless of what this is about, just make sure that you're careful out there. Make sure that you're following the park rules and don't be doing stupid stuff. It's the stupid people that end up ruining it for all of us. If you're very cordial, if you're very polite, chances are if you tell them, hey, I'm just making a video for my YouTube channel, I'm not doing anything, I'm not being destructive, I'm not hurting anything, I'm not getting any other people, like try not to get other people in your videos, try not to get, protected things or whatever. Just be a steward of the rules for the rest of us. Now, I do not agree with this at all. I don't agree that this should happen, but I do agree that there are people out there who do bad stuff in these parks, leave their trash, go on the edge of cliffs to try to get crazy selfies and then end up falling off. So yes, there are crazy people out there, but the masses should not pay for the actions of few. I've never agreed with that. So I'd be very curious to know what you think about this, especially you solo van lifers, you overlanders. Like, this is going to affect us, the people that are out there travel vlogging and doing things like that, living in your van, living in your Toyota 4Runner. I want to know what you guys think. And do you plan to just ignore these rules and just be respectful and take your chances? Or are you going to be looking for something else to do? Like, I really genuinely want to know how you feel. Again, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel and click that bell so that you get notified whenever I post new content. If you want to get the latest news on content creators, live streaming, and things like that, join me every Friday at 10 o'clock a.m. right here on this channel live. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.